Welcome back to Office Hours Part 5. So, wait a minute. We have Shailin who's back. Where's Jenny? Who's that? Is that Cam? Cameron Thorn, ladies and gentlemen. Cam, the myth, the legend. Excited to have you. So, Cam is our global head of insight and analytics, and Shailin is obviously our founder and CEO. You've met him before. Hopefully you've been watching all episodes. We have 5, so you have 3, 2, 1. You have a lot to watch if you haven't seen these. Today, we've had some conversations internally around what we day-to-day talk about, and Office Hours has been great, and we really wanted to talk a little bit about what Shailin and I talked about on a podcast called You're on Mute, which is a little bit around bots. And we talked about bots, but we also talked about a New York Times article that came out. And I noticed you have these sneakers in the back. You're a sneakerhead. This New York Times article actually was about the sneaker industry. And I think the quote that made me laugh, and I think it made some of us laugh and chuckle, is bots are not illegal, nor are they exclusive to the sneaker industry. So I've said that internet has a lot of bots. I've said that half the internet's not human, and I've been quoting these statistics from a lot of different people. Imperva, Barracuda, Juniper. These are not MMI statistics. I've said it in previous office hours. I say this in office meeting, in big meetings, and people, 1, don't believe me, or 2, just don't understand it. So if the sneaker article is here to help people realize that, oh, bots do things like more than just ad fraud, I think it's been an eye opener. And today I want to talk a little bit about this.
It's been very well established that the majority of automated traffic is coming from data centers. So it's no longer personal computers infected with malware that are contributing to this. But the article does go into how it's kind of developer tools, kind of open programs. They're not hacker tools. They're not being used by crime syndicates. These are tools that are developed for automation and testing by very, very large internet and web technology corporations. And so the use of developer tools can be dangerous for the ad fraud issue, because they can be deployed at very high scale in data centers. You don't need to worry about hardware limitations. You can have concurrent browsers running in a data center and essentially scale up at will from 1,000 browsers or mobile device emulators to 1 million if you choose to, and the cost stays very manageable.
So can you give us good examples, like a good and bad bot?
It's always tricky to say good or bad bot, because there's the intention of the programmer creating it, and then there's the actual impact of it. So Googlebot, Bingbot, these search engine crawlers that enable us to use the web in a way that we're all accustomed to, they're very necessary for the functioning of search engines, to go crawl all the different web pages so that when we search for something, it tells us exactly where that term or that image or that content is. Those are good bots in terms of intentions, but they can still be bad in their impact when they are actually loading websites and rendering ads that advertisers end up paying for. Now, the job for us and this space is making sure that's closer to 1% than 50%.
Yeah, and I mean, we have seen those bots come through in some of the reporting that we're running. It's not uncommon to see a Google bot or a Bing bot coming through. It's by no means the majority of bots that we're seeing, but it certainly does happen. And it's crucial to be able to identify them in log level reporting, and to be able to make clients aware of that and make sure that they're not charged for it.
But how is that possible if it's a known user?
Well, none of these systems are perfect, right? To a DSP or an exchange, it might just look like regular traffic. If their exclusion systems aren't working properly, then they just think that that's as if you or I is loading this page, and they make a sale right then and there.
And Headless Chrome, which is a developer tool, doesn't pass Googlebot as its user agent. It passes Chrome as its user agent. So there's, in the ad exchange environment, it's all server to server communication. And so a bad actor, even if they're using a headless browser, can pass a different user agent into their actual bid requests. And then the DSPs will respond according to that.
And so what's an example of a known agent?
I mean, things like Googlebot or BingBot, you
Okay.
know, it comes through just like that.
And so I think we talked a lot about the user agents and IP list and that our pre-bid office hours. You guys have to do a shameless plug of watch that one before you watch this one. So you may want to just stop the recording. So shameless plug, all good.
It's like a content recommendation engine.
There you go.
Yeah, very unlike you, Mark. But I think those things aren't useless, right? We're not saying that. You can use IP address lists or user agent lists to try and stop both known good bots and known bad bots. But they're by no means an exhaustive list. And another point worth flagging is that any bot manufacturer worth their salt is able to modify those values, right? You can have an IP proxy service that's just running through IP addresses. So, it doesn't look like all of this traffic is coming from this one IP address. The same goes for user agent. You can modify that string value to be whatever in the world you want it to be. So these are not foolproof methods, and the industry really needs to get away from relying on them so heavily.
And so what happens when, you're telling one of our advertising partners that their publisher that they're working with has invalid traffic? What are those types of conversations? Like, how do they react?
Yeah, I mean, they can go in a lot of different directions. I think that nobody wants to believe that they're buying, a lot of invalid traffic and that they're seeing a lot of wasted spend. And so we'll work directly with some of those publisher partners, and they always come back and say, no, we only work with, reputable sellers. It's all organic traffic.
Reputable sellers. Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, reputable sellers. Now, I've been on some of those calls, and it's kind of fun to listen to established publishers like say, yeah, we do buy traffic, but we buy it from these reputable sellers. And then you start to dig in the weeds and find out a reputable seller is selling it for them for half a penny. It's the underbelly, right? Whole new topic.
The underbelly is a lot bigger than most people realize, even in the media space. I mean, we've tried to document even some of it and put it out for public consumption with webtrafficdealers.com, but the underbelly is really not that hard to find if you are looking for it.
It's in plain sight, as they say. Okay, let's get back on track because we can go down this whole underbelly 4-hour time.
Yeah, if you want another 45-minute episode, Mark.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think no one wants it, actually. Okay, so bots. Do bots click on things?
They can. They absolutely can. You can program a bot to do most anything a human could do. We've seen them. We've actually created some for internal tests and research projects that we work on. You can get bots to ping around to a bunch of different sites, have them scroll up and down a page, sit in a certain area of a page for a certain amount of time, so that you're achieving the MRC definition of viewability. You can. It's really just up to the bot manufacturer's imagination on what they want to do.
And it's not just clicking. There's a certain amount of programming that goes into it. But my first encounter with bot traffic in the media space was with affiliate marketing and lead forms. And so they knew exactly what that lead page, that sign up page looked like. And they programmed a script to basically go there and fill out information hundreds of times a day. And that conversion pixel that fires after you submit just kept firing $10, $10, $10 for every lead. So anything humans can do, bots can do, because it's kind of there. And I hate to personify bots because I think that's part of the issue, that there's some sort of autonomous thing, but they can do whatever humans can do because they are one physical step removed from what we have to do to create these same interactions. Bots can not only view pages, they can not only click on things, they can not only fill out forms and do all that, but even things like CAPTCHA, where we have to, go tell me where the traffic lights are and tell me where the bicycles are, or tell me where the stop signs are. Bots have been programmed to do that as well. And those services are available for, 2 cents, 5 cents per thousand. And you can program an automated program or browser to basically bypass what we see as human validation checks.
Yeah, I want to point out that if you go to YouTube, you can find a lot of these, like, people have recorded bots to do things, and they've shown, some researchers have done it. There's a lot of good YouTube videos. So don't just believe what we say, because we love to, if you would. However, there's a lot of links around in this interweb we have that would support what we're saying. So kind of going back, what you guys are saying is bots can click on things, and I have seen, how a lot of the DSPs and the algorithms work, that sometimes those guys are emphasizing a click as a performance metric that they want to kind of push towards. And if you're buying and you're not identifying the fake clicks, all of a sudden your emphasis in the optimization is a little tilted. And so what I've been saying a lot around is that we are measuring 100%. Other guys are sampling. So when we measure 100% and we're tying it to the auction ID and the impression ID, you have a very clear path of where your supply paths are working and not working. I think that's important, and I want to make sure that we can kind of show a little. Can you guys just kind of tell me a little bit about like how that all kind of shows out in the weeds?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can look at media spend performance. And what we often say is that, if you're just looking at it from a campaign or placement point of view, you're really taking a blunt edge, like a blunt instrument to this problem. Because, there's a limited amount that you can do with that information. What we think is, a lot more productive to be looking at it from is at the exchange level and at the seller or domain level. We've seen in the past, where if you just look at the different exchanges within a DSP, the IVT rates can range anywhere from, next to nothing to north of 10%. So, we've seen it before where you take a critical view of which exchanges you're including on your campaigns. And as a result of that, just by decreasing your spend on exchanges X, Y, and Z and increasing it on exchanges A, B, and C, you can see your overall IVT rate decrease by, north of 30%. The same goes for sellers and domains. We've seen where, north of 80% of IVT for a test that we've done is coming from like 3 or 4 domains out of a list of about 200. So it then becomes a question of, how valuable are these 3 or 4 domains to your business objectives? Could you reallocate that spend to somewhere where you're not going to be getting such a significant amount of bot activity?
But I think that's kind of one of my point is it's a supply path optimization opportunity, and the supply path optimization is not able to be done if you're not measuring with 100% in clarity of these quality metrics. Right? I mean, right?
Yeah, measuring 100% leads to what the kind of most important factor is in any optimization. And Cameron can correct me if I'm saying anything wrong, because this is his area of expertise, but any sort of optimization process starts with cleaning your data set. You're not just throwing your, whatever optimization process or algorithm that you have at the raw data that you got from executing the initial campaign. You have to clean that, remove anything that is not marked properly, anything that was invalid. And if you're wanting to remove the invalid events, that becomes virtually impossible if you have sampled data sets, because you don't have a record of every event to actually clean out the invalid or unwanted ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I mean, this is what I think.
I'm preaching to the choir here. I know.
Yeah, no. But I want more people that, so remember, office hours is an internal thing as well as an external thing. And I think these are very important pieces of information that people sometimes don't understand of when they hear SPO from another vendor is being offered and it's not mapped to 100%. That's a problem. Like that's not what they think it is. And SPO is a term that actually, if you think about some of the other people that are using it, it's actually a supply path, which means that the sellers think it's a way. And so SPO is a weird word. What we're really at the end of the day talking is demand path optimization, you could even say. And I don't want to change the letters in this new world, and we don't need another goddamn acronym, but
the others are talking about demand path optimization.
They're talking more about demand actually than we are. To be, yeah, that's right. Well, it is what it is. But anyway,
Jenny, please edit that out.
Yeah, take that out. How do we get that out now? No editing that. That's fun. I can make mistakes. It's okay. So back to the sneaker article. Are bots going to go away because these types of articles are coming out?
There is no scenario or version of the current or future internet where automated traffic or bots are not part of that world. And I think that 50-50 split is, I think, where we're going to kind of plateau at for the next decade or two, because you kind of need an even split of bots, automated traffic supporting a lot of the infrastructure that we rely on, and the humans that actually consume the content that's on the web.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I think the bots and IVT and all these statistics that will be thrown out that it's going down, that scares me, because I think it gives everyone a false sense of security that bots and ad fraud is going away. What it's not is going away. What has to happen is you have to measure and continue to identify what's not human, so you're not paying for it. And that's really the goal, is removing that waste. And when you remove your waste, you can improve your outcomes. And that's kind of what we've been talking about externally, internally, and a lot about it. This is a good conversation. You guys are very busy, I know, because I've asked you to do some things for me and you haven't done them. We are good. We're very, very busy here at MMI. Hope you enjoyed this week's Office Hours Part 5. And I don't know, we'll surprise you. Let's see who's next on the guest list. But if you have any topics you would like us to go into, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the email. Let us know. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.